the holy war. And as I said earlier, what BYU does is the best case for Mormonism. Number 23 Utah goes to number 15 BYU and loses 24-21. Kind of an interesting game. Just like you look at the stats. I don't have them in front of me because my phone's currently being the camera. But Bear Bachmeyer plays pretty well. Utah runs the ball all right, throws it all right, but just really struggles to score and finish drives. I believe they had a couple turnovers that hurt them. And BYU just pushed around what I thought was going to be the more physical Utah front seven, defensively especially, and even a little bit on the O-line. Just really impressed me in that sense because what we've come to know Utah as, and maybe they got away from it the past couple years, but, Kyle Whittingham's going to have a tough physical group that's going to be strong and is going to punch you back over and over again and not give ground. And that's not really been the case this year in their couple biggest tests. But y'all's biggest thoughts on this game?
I just really like the way BYU responded, specifically once you got to the fourth quarter. It's 7-10 going to the fourth, and Utah scores a touchdown early in the fourth to take the lead 14-10. BYU, you think of like when you've been in buildings and you've been in stadiums where you have games like that where the team, your rival, scores a late touchdown, and all of a sudden, like, you had had the lead the entire game, and you had been so hyped, and now it feels like, oh, shoot, we might lose this game, especially, like, in BYU's case where you're the underdog, and it's like, man, are we done for? And what does BYU do? 5 plays, 81 yards, touchdown. Utah comes back out, pick, 8 plays, 64 yards, touchdown. Game's basically over. So I think that is more so, or not, I don't even want to say more so. That is a huge statement on what this kind of BYU team is, at least. If we think highly of Utah in any capacity, BYU to respond like that in the fourth quarter in a rivalry game at least says that this is not a team that necessarily is just 7-0 playing weak teams.
Yeah.
They can respond in a critical moment, and they did that. That was, for me, the biggest takeaway was, okay, now I wanted to see how would they respond against Kyle Whittingham and Utah, a team that just clearly has proven at least more at this point in the season, even though they had the bad loss to Texas Tech. Like, you felt like in that moment would have more faith in them.
Sure.
And then Bear Bachmeyer leads 2 long scoring drives, and just like that, BYU wins.
Yeah. Huge props to BYU. It's a big win. I was in more of the camp of like, oh, you're 6-0, but you've not really played anyone. You're going to falter down the stretch. They still could, but I have a lot more faith in them after this win. I do think I've been wrong about Utah. Was wrong about Utah preseason. The offense just does not come easily at all to this group. Devon Dampier hasn't really developed at all as a passer, so they're just very limited offensively. It makes it easy to game plan for. And so, sure, maybe they're pretty big and physical up front, but you don't really have to respect much else, and so that makes it really tough sledding. So, yeah, I don't think Utah is as good as I thought, and I think it's going to end up being a disappointing season for them as they were high up there in terms of Big 12 preseason favorites, maybe, even playoffs for them, and I just don't see that happening at this point.
Yeah. I just want to say on Dampier real quick, for you go back and look at his stats at New Mexico, and we looked at it the preseason, it was 12 touchdowns, 12 picks as a passer, and then 19 rushing touchdowns. It almost feels like hindsight 2020 is like, man, maybe we should have expected that to be a liability, that his ability to throw the football might hurt them in critical moments, but you kind of bought into the hype, and then you bought into how they played to start the season as well. But he is clearly not gotten there as a passer, and it's holding them back.
Yeah. And then, like, offensively, just super aggressive, going forward on fourth downs and not converting any of them. They go, 0 for 4, I believe, on 4th downs. Or they had 4, maybe they were 1 for 5. A lot of turnovers on downs, which is a big question. They go forward on 4th and 1, don't get it.
Yeah, that
4th
one,
and 7,
the
don't
start
get
of the
it.
game didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just take the points, take the lead.
Yeah. And maybe that's a confidence in your O-line.
They had already done that against Texas Tech as well.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it in the offensive line. You mentioned and the two offensive tackles they have and potential draft picks, both of them, or will be draft picks, potential first rounders, both of them. And so maybe that's a decision that you make thinking that you can out physical that defense and get the yard. They don't get it. They go for it again in a couple drives on 4th and 7. 2 drives later, literally. So now that you've got 0 points, you've turned it over on downs, you've punted. Your third drive, you've gone 10 plays, 47 yards. It's a 4th and 7 on the BYU 28. Like, that's a 45-yard field goal, which in college is not a gimme by any means, but another situation where taking the points might have made a lot of sense. And then second half of the game in the third quarter, your second possession, you turn it over 4th and 3. And then towards the end of the game, you kind of had to, I think, the game. I'm not sure what the score was because this doesn't have what, but their second to last possession, 4th and 15. So I'm going to assume
they were down 10.
Yeah, that was a must
Late in the
go.
fourth.
Had to go for that one, but just really aggressive play. And as always, hindsight is 20/20. But I, as a State fan, am very aware of this. I remember one of the Leach games, maybe halfway through Leach's tenure here. We've got 4th and goal from the goal line. It might have been against Memphis the year we lost, but I'm not positive. We go for it, don't get it, end up losing, and the field goal would have won it or put it in overtime. That's exactly how Utah is going to be looking at this game. Is you had 2 potential field goals that you turned down and lose by 3. So yeah, take the points.
Especially when you pride yourself on toughness and defense, like just play the field position game. You feel like you can stop this BYU team. So I don't know why you're pushing the issue too much. But
Yeah. In my career, my coaching career, when I lose games, in the video game, of course, but more often than not, it's because I do what a lot of people do when they play video game football, is that punting doesn't exist.
Yep.
And why would you go for a field goal? Just try to go score touchdowns. And more often than not, when I've lost games, whether that be at South Carolina or Central Michigan, it has been because I've went for it in critical spots and not converted, and then all of a sudden I give up a touchdown. So, yeah, it was confusing. That when you look back on it, that's kind of how it feels. Just take the points, especially in a rivalry game, in a big in primetime games, especially. I feel like night games, points are just so valuable. They're valuable in any game, but points are so valuable, especially on the road. Go out there and take the points because those points can just help you so much in terms of staying in the game. And they didn't for whatever reason.
Yeah.
BYU is now 7-0, which, like I said, now for the third time, that's a tremendous accomplishment. But they've got 4 tough Big 12 games going forward. Of course, they're undefeated in the Big 12. This is not a buy and sell, is it? Anything on BYU?
No.
Okay. They're at Iowa State next weekend.
Yeah.
Then they'll play at
Who's
Texas
lost
Tech.
2 in a row.
And then they'll have at Cincinnati at the end of November. So they have 3 road games against Big 12 opponents. We'll play another game of Guess the Spread. They're at Iowa State next week, 2:30 on Fox. What's the spread?
Iowa State 2.5.
What's the spread?
They're at Iowa State.
At Iowa State.
Iowa State 4.5.
Iowa State 2.5.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Bang.
I don't understand this. My brain. You're looking them up pre-show.
Yeah, I just like scroll through every single one. No, I've been
no,
wrong.
he's a gambler.
I've been wrong on some. Yeah, secretly I'm just like
spreads.
locked
Yeah,
in. Yeah, I just don't tell anyone.
So that's 3 games that they will be on the road and be underdogs, because I imagine they will against Texas Tech and Cincinnati, especially with it being on the road. So its job is far from finished, but I think with them making this statement, at least at home, they've got a chance to maybe make a little bit of a run. And if they can beat Texas Tech or Cincinnati, one of those two, they might be in that conversation of being in the tiebreaker with a 1-loss Big 12 team.
Yeah.
And that's enough to maybe potentially reach Jerry World. I also I wish I had done research on it now, but I may have to do research post-show. I wonder if who the incumbent, or I guess not incumbent, but the acting president is, given their party. Does that have any influence on who wins these games, given the political nature of BYU and Utah? I need to research that, because now BYU's won 2 in a row, and Trump is in office in both those years.
That's something to look into.
I need to go back.
I'm
and
gonna
look that
need
one
you to
up.
do that.